Spurs are worse, but like way better.
I want some nasty. Are we having fun yet?
Guys, do not get me wrong, okay? We've had our little bit of drama, but not like this. I have to say, if I'm a Lakers fan, I'm throwing my headset, okay? This is terrible. I saved a few moments here in particular that I've noticed what was going on with the Lakers. It is god awful. Now, I'm just going to dive straight into this. First and foremost, let me go ahead and talk about our drama, okay? Before anybody starts to say, well, you know, the Spurs have drama as well. Yeah, let's get past it. All right, Kawhi Leonard demanded trade from San Antonio. Obviously, that happened. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, but I will go ahead and say this right out the bat. We had no idea this was coming. There was no way the San Antonio Spurs even saw this coming. I don't even think Kawhi Leonard himself saw this coming. Okay, I think that he was completely influenced by his uncle, and this in a different universe. Okay, this was not supposed to happen. All right, this alternative universe we're living in, this was not supposed to happen, but it did. Okay, and yeah, it was some type of drama, but overall, overwhelmingly, the Spurs are drama free. Now, when it comes to the Lakers, I understand the makeup of their team, okay? I understand that you try to put a lot of pieces together, you get a championship out of it. And I'm not going to knock them on their championship. I know a lot of people call it the Mickey Mouse ring. It's a ring nonetheless, okay? They won a ring. So I'm not going to take their ring away from them. But with that being said, this is why I don't like these super teams. This is why I don't like these teams that you just put the best players you can on the squad and try to win. The reason why I don't like it is because it never lasts and it seems to always blow up. Now, I am going to talk about one team in particular, and that's the Golden State Warriors. Obviously, the Golden State Warriors, it hasn't happened with them, but that's because they did build from the ground up. Even though they end up creating a super team with the Kevin Durant situation, even that blew up at the time. But because they had that foundation, because they had the good franchise, because they had the great coaching, branch from Popovich, by the way, they were able to, stay afloat. So the Warriors are an exception to the rule. But I will say this, they're kind of exception. They're not really that much of an exception, let's be real. But they kind of exception to the rule. Now, I say all that to say this. The Los Angeles Lakers, they might be better than the Spurs on paper, record-wise, but we are in a so much better situation than the Lakers find themselves in. And the reason why I say that is because the amount of drama that's going on with them, it is so unhinged, and we have such a younger team that wouldn't engage in what they're engaging in. And what do I mean by that? Well, let's go ahead and look. So, first and foremost, I saw this and I found this very interesting. This is the Lakers arguing with fans. That's LeBron James arguing with a fan in which he says, "Shut your A up." Actually started talking back to the fans today.
Number 8 has a marshal to the yellow flag.
He said, "Who said that? Was it you? Was it you?" This is ridiculous. They're focusing more on the fans than just playing basketball. It's crazy. And as you can see, that's Trevor Ariza, and I have to block it out because they're playing music. But there's Trevor Ariza going at someone. I mean, this is crazy to me. This is just crazy to me. This doesn't make any sense. And as we know, Russell Westbrook often goes at fans. Okay, that's nothing new. He does it all the time. But dude, it is nuts. And these are two different fans that they're yelling at. This is the same game, but they're yelling at different fans. This is crazy to me. And this has to be, I mean, I'm assuming they're, Los Angeles Lakers going against the Pelicans. I'm going to assume that they're yelling at other Lakers fans. I'm going to assume that it's not a Pelicans fan. Okay, I could be wrong, but I'm just going to assume that it's not a Pelicans fan. Now, this team is full of veterans. You have Trevor Ariza. He's been around the block. You got LeBron James, been around the block. Russell Westbrook, been around the block. And they're fighting with fans in the midst of a game, bro. Like, I don't know what to say. I really don't. This is not something that I'm accustomed to. I mean, I'm not trying to sit here and just flex and be like, well, I'm the San Antonio, Spurs players, we don't do. No, I'm not trying to flex. I just think it's sad. It's just a sad situation that's going on. Now, it's getting so bad to the point where literally Jenny Buss leaves the game early. You have your owner leaving games early? How bad of a look is that? The fans didn't even leave early. You assembled the team and you're leaving early. Like, I couldn't imagine, bro. Could you imagine Peter Holt in the midst of a game? And our Spurs have had some butt whoopings this season, okay? But could you imagine him getting up in the middle of a game and leaving? This is ridiculous. This is nuts, dude. And I understand that they're going through some things, okay? I understand with the injury of AD. I understand that the team is not how they want it to be assembled. I understand that they're having issues with Russell Westbrook. But man, the professionalism with this team is just all out of whack. It is terrible. It is terrible. She couldn't even wait between quarters to leave? Could you imagine? But anyways, all right. And lastly, but not least, we have Russell Westbrook's quote of the day. And I'll read it for you. It looks like I'm kind of over it. I got 3 beautiful kids in my house. Excuse me. My wife, I ain't taking it home. Russell Westbrook on Lakers fans booing him. When you start to have to make arguments like this, when you have to start bringing in the I love my family arguments, you're not in a good spot. You're not in a good spot. That is a telltale sign that the franchise is not doing a good job. Now, with that being said, I will say this, okay? I'm going to say this. I'm going to be completely honest, all right? The Los Angeles Lakers, their fans, I know oftentimes Spurs fans do not like Lakers fans, okay? That is abundantly clear, all right? Everyone knows that. But at the same time, I will say at least, okay, the very least, Lakers won championships and pretty recently won a championship. So I understand Lakers fans are the way they are. And, if you want to kind of flex your muscles, man, flex it, I guess. I mean, I did it with the 2014 finals when we won by a record margin. Hey, flex it. But at the same time, I don't understand how it gets to a point where the fans irritate the players so much till they're ready to fight back and yell back and argue with them in the middle of a game. I mean, this is crazy. You need to focus on trying to win the game rather than arguing with them. And LeBron James, I know some people will throw LeBron under the bus. I'm not necessarily trying to throw him under the bus. I think the whole franchise is going under. I think the whole thing is just ugly. But LeBron James, obviously, in the past, have done a lot of subliminal messaging and things like that. But I don't think that that's the case with this team. I know that LeBron probably don't want Westbrook to be there anymore. I mean, let's just be honest, he probably doesn't. But at the same time, look, I'm not going to blame LeBron for all of this, because it seems like it's not just him. It's not just the players. But, I mean, it's also the owner that's being unprofessional. I mean, this is just terrible. I mean, this is just god awful. But with all that being said, I'm happy to be a Spurs fan, because even though technically they're better than us in the standings, the San Antonio Spurs franchise is so much better than the Lakers. And the reason why I say that is because we don't have all this drama, and we have such young players, okay? Young players losing. No one's pointing the fingers. We always pick the right guys to fit the mold of San Antonio. And going forward, our franchise is such a solid franchise till we will never be in this situation. I will never see, and I really do mean this, okay? And I think I can say this based on the evidence of us being a franchise since the 70s. I will never see the San Antonio Spurs have outbursts like this, in which they are just destroyed and they are arguing with fans and there's drama in the front office. I don't think I'll ever see it, because the Spurs have been a pretty solid franchise for a very, very long time. And I'm just happy that I'm cheering for this team, because even though we're going to be trash for a little while, okay, we're not going to have a great record right now. Even when the season's over, I don't think that we'll make up for it. We're going to have a pretty bad season. But I will say this. At the end of the day, I believe they'll be able to get themselves out of it. No matter what they put themselves in, they'll be able to get themselves out of it. Lakers, they're going to have to depend on another superstar signing with them, which is, it's fine. You're in Los Angeles, but I just think that's what's going to have to come, what it's going to come down to for a franchise like that. But with the Spurs, when you build it from the ground up, you're going to always be successful. The fact that we are not having the best season and there's no finger pointing, there's no hard feelings. Every single player is just bringing each other up. No one's yelling at each other on the court. DeJounte Murray, even him being an all-star, he's not pointing fingers and saying, hey, you guys need to really step up. No, everybody's just been cool. Everybody's been cool. So with that being said, man, I'm just happy to be a Spurs fan. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry if you're a Lakers fan. This is not like a knock on Lakers fans, but I'm just happy we have people like DeJounte Murray, and everybody else, honestly. Keldon Johnson, Josh Primo, Devin Vassell, Lonnie Walker, all these guys are very high character. And if we ever got to the point, bro, where our owner, Peter Holt, is walking out, or we're at a point where we have players saying, well, you know what, they can boo me, but I love my family, that's crazy. Or if you have our players literally, could you imagine? Just imagine a different world. All right, John Lennon right now. Can you imagine? Let's just imagine a different world. Let's imagine DeJounte Murray. I'm sorry, doing this. Let's imagine Keldon Johnson doing it. I couldn't. I just can't imagine. I can't. All right, I'll give it to you guys later, man. I went on a long soliloquy there. I don't know. This just frustrates me. It's like I feel like a Lakers fan. I get irritated seeing this. I don't know. I'll be way more heated if I was. All right, I'll give it to you guys later. Until next time, deuces.